Bitcoin technology firm Blockstream just raised a boatload of money, $210 million to be precise, making it the latest of the crypto unicorns. First of all, I feel like everyone's a crypto unicorn these days, so we'll downplay that. But the valuation puts it at 3.2 billion, and it gives Blockstream some fresh capital to ramp up its efforts in the mining space. Seeing as Blockstream is based in Canada, I have to toss this to Jen for her immediate
What's
take.
the anti-unicorn? Is it a narwhal?
Canada.
Can we just call them narwhals now or something?
So we have a Canadian crypto unicorn, Blockstream here.
We have a Canadian
what stands out?
crypto
What stands out to
unicorn.
you? What stands out to you from up north?
I mean, it's not surprising to me that they were able to raise a bunch of money. They have Blockstream Energy. I think like a few months ago, we heard they were partnering with Square on a solar-powered mine. I think VCs are really interested in the clean mining narrative. And so this feels good, I think, for Canada. We are taking the win. We have another tech unicorn up here in the north. NBA Top Shot is another crypto unicorn that we have up here. So it's just like a great day. We are happy. We are paving the way when it comes to clean mining. But Will, I want to hear your take on this from a mining perspective.
From a mining perspective and not from a Canadian perspective. I cannot help you out there. Mining perspective, pretty interesting news to see them come out with this. Of course, they hold a lot of Bitcoin also, which I think is key to their valuation. They hold a tremendous amount of Bitcoin just as a company. And that's kind of their proposition when they came out in 2014 was to be like a scaling solution for Bitcoin through their liquid network. That hasn't seen a ton of adoption to date, but I don't think that would necessarily happen yet because Bitcoin fees are still relatively low compared to where people think they might end up if it really does become like a settlement network for the entire financial ecosystem. In terms of mining, they have been very aggressive over the last few years getting into Bitcoin mining. Of course, Bitcoin, there's not a lot of different projects that you can build on top of it, and that's by design. There's only a few avenues you can get into to make revenue. That's mining, that's making an exchange, and that's maybe somehow like making a side chain. There's also like the wallet business, of course. So I'm expecting to see them get into the mining business more and more. They announced like this clean energy solution that they came up with the other day, which is basically like dropping shipping containers filled with miners onto stranded natural gas or stranded energy sources and utilizing those energy sources to mine Bitcoin and reducing things like CO2 emissions in the process or methane emissions rather. But Zach, I'll toss it back up to you.
Yeah, Blockstream is one of these companies where like their reputation precedes them. You know, they do so many different things ranging from like lightning implementations to mining to I think like the satellite stuff. So I want to kick this to Naomi, you know, just you know, for the amount of time that you spent in the space and watching Blockstream sort of, you know, be one of these foundational companies in the space for a long time. What are you thinking about them now that they have all this capital on board, and where would you bet that they're going to concentrate their efforts going forward, Naomi?
Goodness, I don't even know where to begin to answer that question. I mean, Blockstream, you're right. Their reputation precedes them, and in a lot of different ways. So they're either loved or they're hated, right? There are lots of sectors of the crypto community that have a lot of animosity directed towards Blockstream. And then, meanwhile, they're doing some interesting things. Like I really enjoy the satellite project. When that came out, a lot of people are like, this is useless. What are they even doing this for? I love the idea of finding ways to make the internet more redundant. I think that it's great that people are looking into private satellites, or in their case, it wasn't their own satellite, but they're leasing, bandwidth on someone else's. I just like the idea of decentralizing away from the kind of more centralized internet structure we have at the moment. But I'll throw to you, Will, for your thoughts.
Yeah, so one other aspect of this that I think might get thrown under the radar is that they purchased an ASIC manufacturer out of Israel. I think it's Spondoolies or something similar to that. I can't pronounce it correctly.
Yeah.
And just for the context on that, why that matters is traditionally mining manufacturing from any cryptocurrency, not just Bitcoin, has been dominated by the Asian markets. There really hasn't been many manufacturers in the US or Europe or elsewhere. Why? Mostly because the chips that are needed for making the machines reside in Taiwan or China or Malaysia. And so as we see those chip manufacturers kind of move out of the area, especially with the Biden administration's newfound focus on bringing chip manufacturing to the US in light of the COVID-19 and supply bottlenecks, you're going to see more manufacturers of ASICs pop up here in the US and in Europe and other places where they haven't been before. Ben, your thoughts?
Yeah, no, that was my big takeaway from this is like they're getting into the game of like chip manufacturing. That's a huge deal in a lot of different ways. It further kind of proliferates the various services they offer. And I think maybe we'll see more like crypto companies start to kind of broaden their expertise and not quite specialize in exactly one thing. But yeah, Will, as you said, like the Asian markets have very much so been the key chip manufacturers and ASIC manufacturers, which are like the crux of Bitcoin mining. And so seeing that move maybe not into North America, but a little bit closer and start to see that diversify as China cracks down, I think will be really important. And also in the context of an overall chip shortage that the world is experiencing right now.